All right, thanks for stopping by. Today is Saturday, November 22nd, 2025. I'm trying to generate income through options, selling puts, covered calls. Let's have a look at this small portfolio. Right now, you can see this Saturday, I'm up $100 or about 1.13%. The past week, I'm down about 8% or $750. The past month, down about 10% or about $950. And in the past 3 months, down 1,000 or about $1,100 or about 11%. And we go ahead and click all time, down 10% or about $975. And if we have a look at my buying power, you can see about $22,500. I do have a margin account. You can see I have a little bit of cash, $2,400, and I do use my margin to sell some puts. I use that as collateral, and I've been selling puts with my margin and cash for the past month or so. And here we're looking at a snapshot of all the income I've made in this small portfolio since I started in July. July, August, September, and October. Basically, I was into high yield dividends like OLTI, TSYY, XBTY, MISTY, but I was tired of the NAV erosion. So here in September, I kind of switched over to options, and October and November have mostly been options. So let's just take a look at my options and see what I have going right now. I've been doing options for about the past 2 months with the start date of September 12th. And this past week was a record week for me, $181 in realized profit from the options I did this week. And if we take a look, I had 7 positions where I'd made that money. I'm going to go from top to bottom, just quickly go over what happened. You can see I had an MSTX $12 covered call. Credit at open was $23. I saw a profit over 80%. I just went ahead and closed it. I mean, MSTX is getting destroyed right now. So I paid $3. I kept $20, which means about 87% profit on that covered call. Next was a SOFI put of $24 for next Friday for 11/28. Credit at open was $32. SOFI pumped, I believe, Wednesday morning. It went over 50%. I just decided to go ahead and close that out. I gave them back their $14 for a realized profit of $18 or just a little bit over 56% profit. Then I had to put a TSLL at a 15.5 strike. Credit at open was $16. TSLL pumped because Tesla pumped, of course. It's a proxy of Tesla. Cost me $3 to close it. So a realized profit of 80%, or I kept 13 of that $16. Then I immediately opened another put. Credit at open was $21. Tesla pumped again, which of course caused TSLL to pump. I went ahead and closed it. It only cost me $1 to buy it back. So you can see I kept 20 of the $21 or 95% profit. Then I ran my first covered call on TSLL. Strike price was $17.50. I believe my average cost was like $17.35. But anyway, a credit of $53 to open this. I did roll this position to next week. It only cost me $1 to roll it. So that meant I kept $52 of that $53 or 98% profit. Then I have a covered call going on SOFI at 31.5 strike price. You can see the credit to open it was $22. I let this one expire worthless just because of the huge pullbacks we've been experiencing for the past week and a half. So you can see kept all $22 or 100%. And then my last options play for this past week was a couple contracts on BBAI. Covered call, $7 strike. Again, with the pullbacks, I just let it expire worthless. I kept all $36 or 100% profit. And now if we look at the past month, $553 of realized profit. And all time again, I started September 12th, $828 of realized profit. And right now, the only option I have on the table is a covered call on TSLL. You can see it's already in the money. Expires next week, Friday, 11/28. And if we take a quick peek at it, just the one contract, because I just have 100 shares, but you can see the average credit, 37 cents or $37. This was the one that I rolled. And you can see right here, I'm in the money about 40%. And if TSLL does not hit my strike of $17.50, I will get the full $37 if it expires worthless. Hopefully, if it doesn't hit the strike, I'll be able to roll this to next week and keep generating that income. And here's what's actually in my portfolio of just the 4 positions that I'm making money on covered calls. But you can see past week and a half, huge pullbacks, down almost 300 on BBAI, 400 on SOFI, close to 200 on TSLL, and the one I am in purgatory in is MSTX with 200 shares, down almost $1,000. So those covered calls are just a drop in the bucket of a hedge for what's going on right now in the market. And now a closer look of those positions as far as options are concerned. I'll start off with BBAI. You can see I've been running covered calls on BBAI for the past 5 weeks. You can see the income is generated just from covered calls, about $99. And then over here on the left, I have been running some puts, just a couple puts for a total of $36. These are all realized profits. If you add those up, it's $135. And the return on investment, the 9.36%, that's because I have about $1,441 of total capital invested. So almost 10% return, so to speak. That's how I'm looking at it. But you can see my average cost is $6.81, and BBAI is sitting at $5.40. So we are down just because of this huge pullbacks. Next up is SOFI. This is one of my favorite stocks. You can see I've run a bunch of puts in the past month or so for a total of $162. I just finished up the 3rd week of running covered calls on this position for $67 of realized income. You add that all up, it's $229 or return on investment about 7.6%. I have $3,000 basically of capital invested in that. You can see the average cost of $29.79 and SOFI's sitting at $25.19 right now. Next up is MSTX. It's getting hammered, NSTR. I call it Mr. along with Bitcoin. It's just a huge pullback. So MSTR is coming down hard. MSTX is a proxy of Mr. So it's following suit because it's 2x leverage. But as far as income, couple weeks of running covered calls, $53 premium, realized premium. I have 0 put premium right here. So for the $53, return on investment about 2.5%. I do have $2,000 of total capital invested. You can see the average price. My average price is $10.24 and MSTX is at $5.19. So down almost 50%. So just have to wait it out. And the last position I have is TSLL. I was assigned this last week. You can see I have a little bit of realized put premium of $33. And again, that covered call the first week, this past week at $52. You add that up, that's $85 or almost 5% of total return on my total capital invested of $1,700. There you can see my 100 shares, an average cost of $17.36 with TSLL at $15.43. And now we're jumping to a little detailed look the past 3 months. You can see September and October, I was heavy into those high yield ETFs. You can see the dividends that I earned for September and October. And then I started again the options in September, the 239, 216. November basically transitioned to options only. I did have one payout from NBII of $16 for November. But here highlighted in red, you can see my progress as far as weekly options income, 56, 136, and now 181. But if you add those all up at $389, we're coming into the last week of November. So hopefully I can get $100. I think the goal should be, since I'm at 389, to get about $111 of option premium income realized so I can make this $500. So that's the goal. I don't know if it's going to happen because I don't know if its pullback is over yet. I don't want to get too aggressive on any puts that I'm selling. Right now, I'm so far down on my positions that running a covered call at a decent strike price to where I don't want to lose money. The premiums are small if they exist at all. I know they don't exist on MSTX, and the premiums on BBAI, SOFI, and well, on TSLL, they're okay. But those other two, we're talking $5 a contract, somewhere in that area. And if we take a look at BBAI, you can see right now at $5.45, if I go to trade options and I have 200 shares and I want to sell a covered call for next Friday, November 28th, my average cost is at $6.80 something. So I want to do at least a $7 strike. I don't want to do in the money. I'd rather just get no premium or a little bit of premium. You can see right now it's $3. If I run 2 contracts, The bid ask is tight, only a penny. So I'd get a $6 credit for next week. This is going to change, but you know what I mean. So just a small premium running a covered call. And if we look at SOFI, it's sitting at 25.48. There's my average cost of 29.79. So if I wanted to run a covered call at a $30 strike, because I do want to try and roll out of all these positions, I sell a covered call here. If I go all the way up to 30, you can see it's only 6 cents or $6. You take a look right now here on a Saturday morning, the bid ask is on it tight. So I definitely get, $6 or $7 credit. And then MSTX, you can see sitting at 537. I do have those 200 shares. There's my average cost of 10.24. But you can see where we're sitting at on the price. If you go to options, I want to sell a 10.50 strike on a covered call, but it doesn't exist. You'd have to come down to $7. So all I can do is sit and hold if I just want to have the 200 shares. I could try and average down, but I don't even want to do that because I do not know what Mr. is going to do. Right now, it's crashing. So as far as put options, I like TSLL. And if we go to the options chains on TSLL, and I want to sell a put for next Friday, right now 1565. Has Tesla hit the bottom for this pullback, or is it going to keep pulling back? Because you can see the premiums are pretty decent. If I think we're at the floor right now, a $90 premium and a 1550 strike, or I can come all the way down to like a 1350. I could run probably 3 contracts, see what it says. The bid ask, it's pretty tight, 25 and 28. I did that $75 credit. I need 4,000 collateral, which I have. So that could be $75 if I try not to get a sign. If I get a sign, I'd be okay with that because, Tesla, it's going to move. Eventually, it's going to move back up. And as far as running any other puts, here's my watch list right here. I'm looking at SOXL and where's it at? And NVDX, the NVIDIA proc. So those are some puts that I'm looking at for next week. Try and open up some covered calls, even though they're not going to have a decent premium. But this is part of the game. Go week to week on these. Again, just a huge pullback during this past 10 days or so. You can see how far down this graph goes right here. See, just 10 days ago, I wish I was over the $10,000. So there you have it. Just a weekly update from Scott's PC. I want to thank you for watching. You hung around this long. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace.